The Arlington High baseball team's storybook season comes to an end, but the future looks bright. An ambitious public art project aims to reflect our community's experience of COVID-19 pandemic. And Town Manager Adam Chapdelaine shares a momentous decision. These stories and more coming up next on ACMi News.
From McLennan Park to Spy Pond, from Poets Corner to the Mystic River, we have Arlington covered. We're your neighbors, a friend you can turn to. This is ACMi News.
Hello, I'm Paul Whirl and welcome to ACMi News.
And I'm Sophia Titus. Over the last several weeks, we've been following the twists and turns of whether or not Arlington's town manager, Adam Chapdelaine, will accept the town of Natick's offer to be their town administrator. Well, the suspense is over, as Adam shared his final decision with us in this week's update.
After a lot of consideration and some things that occurred in the process, I decided last night, after talking with my family, that staying in Arlington was my best choice. I'll be issuing a statement later today, outlining some of those considerations and points of the decision a little more clearly and a little more detail. But I'm sitting with you here today, happy to be staying. Right, there's so much positive in Arlington, so much good work that we have done and that we want to keep doing. And I think it's important to emphasize the we in that sentence. When I thought about applying in Natick, as I interviewed, and then as I thought about whether or not I should go, the we was really one of the most important parts of the consideration. The team here in Arlington, the department heads, the staff, the elected and appointed officials in the board committees and commissions. And I'm not just saying this because I'm sitting with you, the team at ACMi, like the work that the team at ACMi just did in the last week to get the select board chambers ready for a hybrid meeting. It all rounds out what is a really amazing team here. Every community has its challenges, and I certainly have spoken about some of those in past interviews, but I'm glad to be making a decision to stay with the awesome folks that we have here in Arlington and to be part of that team that I think is doing really important work for the town and beyond.
Surprising news for sure, and the latest proof that living or working in Arlington is a pleasure that's hard to give up.
On Monday, June 21st, the Select Board unanimously voted to approve the liquor license for the Arlington Heights Pub, an important step in the process for this new restaurant and bar option to open. The pub hopes to open its doors by late July after they complete construction and clear inspections.
The Select Board also approved a common Vittler license for a new restaurant coming right down the street from the pub. It's called Prep Neighborhood Kitchen, and they will occupy the space at 1367 Mass Ave, the former site of Boston Pizza and Curry. The kitchen will offer American comfort food, including pizzas, salads, and desserts, and is expected to operate Tuesday through Sunday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Good news for Arlington bookworms. The Robbins Library announced that they are returning to normal operations. On Monday, June 21st, they announced the resumption of full hours and most services at the Robbins and Fox libraries with no appointment necessary. The library asks visitors to wear a face covering inside the library regardless of vaccination status. Children ages 2 through 11 are required to wear masks, and the library staff will continue wearing masks at public service desks in solidarity with young patrons, they said. For information about their hours and services, visit their website, robbinslibrary.org.
Arlington has an exciting month to look forward to as the Recreation Department announced a host of new programs and events to attend this summer. ACMi's and Young Kim gives us a rundown of all things recreational coming in the next few months.
Summer has just begun, and many of the Arlington Recreation Department's upcoming programs are already full.
ACMi invited Joseph Connolly, Director of the Recreation Department, to talk about summer events.
We are offering programs as normal as if we did in 2019. We're running a full offerings of summer camp, which includes our Club Rec and our Kids Corner program. The only change is we are limiting our numbers somewhat. Last year was certainly a change for everyone, and we want to make sure that we do it the best of our ability. So we're starting a little slower than we normally would. I'd say we're operating at about 80% capacity.
Another exciting piece of news is that Reservoir Beach opens for swimming on Monday, June 28th.
There's no changes or restrictions there. It is going to be as normal. The only change would be the timing. We normally open from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. This year, we're 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. It does have a little bit to do with COVID, where it was a very difficult staffing the beach this year with the appropriate number of lifeguards.
It will be open till the end of August. Due to recent construction, the new playground won't be available, but there will be a new bathhouse and snack bar and amazingly pleasant water quality. You can buy the beach tags you need to access Reservoir Beach in person or online. Wondering what other programs are available?
A variety of summer sport camps, where we're offering tennis and soccer and volleyball and basketball and t-ball and fencing and karate, and all those are running as normal. Any program that is being held outside is following the CDC guidelines and not requiring masks. Any program that is being run inside, we are requiring masks at all times.
What requirements should residents be aware of?
We do have self-attestation boards, which basically means when a parent drops off their child at our program, we're just making sure the parents are aware that that's still a requirement, that if anyone is sick or has been in contact with anyone with COVID or COVID symptoms, that they don't bring their child to the program. So, but that's really it. Besides that, our numbers are fantastic. A lot of our programs have filled the capacity already.
While your kids are participating in the various events offered by the Arlington Rec Department, you can enjoy your summer. For ACMi News, I'm In-young Kim.
Thanks, In-young. As you've just seen, residents have a bunch of summer recreation activities to choose from, but how about those more interested in the arts? Senior news producer Anim Osmani introduces us to a particular group of artists who made their own contribution to Arlington's thriving public art scene.
In last week's newscast, our reporter Sophia Titus showed us the public artwork being displayed around town as part of Arlington's Spruce Up campaign. Local artists are taking the lead on that project, but this section right here in Arlington Center was reserved specifically for the Ottoson Middle School art team.
This project came about when the Arlington Commission for Arts and Culture asked the Ottoson Middle School Art Club if we would like to be a part of the town-wide project to transform parklets created for safe outdoor seating during the pandemic into more beautiful and interesting spaces.
For months, Poly Ford's art students have focused on the challenge of how to transform eyesores into something beautiful. On Thursday, June 17th and Friday, June 18th, the Ottoson Art Club had the pleasure of installing their creations for us all to see.
It was a wonderful time seeing all of their weeks and weeks and hours of work come together into the barriers themselves and seeing it come to life. Part of the joy, I think, of Thursday and Friday was the faces of the public and people stopping and talking to the kids about what they were doing, who they were, and what this project was all about. It's been a long year, a hard year, and it's been hard to motivate to do anything outside of what we had to do. So these kids really went above and beyond, and I think they did some beautiful work.
These animals are made out of recycled content and other outdoor-friendly materials, which were decided on, for the most part, by the kids. Personally, I'm a huge fan of bunnies, so I really love this right here. Congratulations to the Ottoson Middle School art team, and thank you for providing us with all this cuteness. We can expect to see these on display throughout the summer. Reporting from Arlington Center, I'm Anim Osmani, ACMi News.
Thanks, Anim. Artists all over the world have tapped into their experiences during the pandemic to inspire their work. Arlington's current artist in residence, Nilu Muchala, has done just that. Here's ACMi News correspondent Helen Frazier with the story.
I'm here in Monotony Rocks Park in front of Nilu's new art installation called Reflecting on Our Pandemic Experience. By exploring the impact COVID had on Arlington, Nilu is bringing the community together after such an isolating year.
It's inclusive, and the idea is when you compare all these stories together, it creates like a whole community of stories. It's not just one isolated incident or experience, and that way we can have a fabric of how, Arlington survived.
The idea for the installation came during the lockdown, when Nilu began creating daily sketches inspired by the pandemic. For Nilu, creating this art was therapeutic. It was a way to heal during such a time of pain and uncertainty.
During that time, I already started talking with the Arlington Commission on Arts and Culture about potentially doing a public art project based on this pandemic storytelling. And so we started, compiling together a proposal. We got some MCC grant money to actually fund this project.
The installation is located at Momentous Rocks Park and will run through October. While half of the flags are designs from Nilu's daily sketches during lockdown, the other half were inspired by conversations she had with members of the community.
During the months of March and April, I ended up interviewing a lot of people in the Arlington community, from the town administration, Adam Chapdelaine, Ali Carter, the DPW head, Mike, fire chief, went to small businesses all along Mass Avenue, elderly residents, youth, essential workers, obviously, basically all slices of Arlington life who were potentially affected by the pandemic.
After having an interview with each person, she gave them a word that described their story. Humanity for the town manager.
He talked about the humanity of everybody working for the town. They went above and beyond their call of duty. And that's what you had to do, in a health crisis like this.
Overwhelming for a librarian.
They pivoted from having their regular requests for books. It doubled because nobody was going to school. Everyone was at home. They needed books. They needed toys, whatever the library could supply.
Madness for a grocery clerk.
There was nothing left, no items that we usually think would stay on the shelves. They were all, people had gone crazy, and people were just consumed by oh my God, what is coming down the pipeline?
All of the interviews that inspired the flags are accessible at the Robbins Library. While there is one sign by the installation that includes a summary of a few interviews, Nilu hopes to add more, allowing everyone that visits to learn the unique story behind every flag.
In a way, it suits them to read other people's experiences, and you can always match yourself with one of those, whether it's trying to get food at a grocery store, or navigating meeting friends, or even relatives or grandparents, children, all those funny things that we had to deal with over the last year.
Nilu has created an online questionnaire for anyone with a connection to Arlington to share their COVID experience. The responses will be added to the Robbins Library COVID archive and preserved for future generations to learn about the pandemic. You can find the online questionnaire at tinyurl.com/Arlington Stories. For ACMi News, I'm Helen Frazier.
The Arlington High baseball team season came to an end this week after a year in which the team defied all expectations. We sent ACMi News correspondent Toby Barrett down to the Diamond to catch up with the team after their storybook season.
I'm here at Spy Pond Field, home of the Arlington High School boys varsity baseball team, where they finished their season on Monday, June 21st with a disappointing loss to Concord Carlisle. While the result wasn't exactly what they wanted, the lessons they picked up along the way will be invaluable to them going forward.
A pandemic, an interrupted school calendar, and no returning seniors, the Spy Ponder baseball team faced a long list of obstacles this season. Despite their struggles off the field, on the field, the Spy Ponders were fantastic, finishing the regular season on top of the Middlesex Liberty League with a 10-2 record. Head coach Joe Sanacito talks about his team coming together and defying all expectations.
Going in, we didn't really quite know what we had coming in. We did not play last year, so and if we did play last year, we would have had a big group of We had a large group of seniors who didn't get to play last year. So the last time I actually saw these group play, it was they were freshmen, or the sophomores were in 8th grade. So I really didn't know what we had coming in. Going in, our expectations were kind of unknown at that point. Right? I didn't quite know what we were going to get into, but our schedule worked out for us, playing 2 games a week. We just kind of went in with the idea of getting everybody some experience, and play some good competition in this league. Lexington, Reading, usually some pretty good baseball teams, and going into it, like I said, our expectations were kind of high expectations, high ceiling. The kids met them, and they just worked really hard all year, and just things started to work out for us.
The Spy Ponders weren't even sure they'd be able to play a season at all due to the pandemic. It was a challenge for the players to stay ready and prepare for baseball.
Yeah, the challenge I think was just, the school, then to baseball. I think it was really challenging for a lot of guys, kind of balancing everything out. And, it was definitely really hard for everyone, but we all worked through it. And I think we all, worked really hard and did really well with what we had.
With all the restrictions, it was very hard. I mean, the gyms were limited for people to go in, and same with the masks and all that. It was hard, but we could go outside, swing the bats, and get some ground balls, and it was fine. But it was good to come out and play games again.
The Spy Ponders season concluded with a tough loss in the playoffs, but one thing they won't lose is any of their players to graduation. Everyone on the Spy Ponders roster thinks that this year of growth and experience they gained will make them even better next season.
We talked earlier about, this being a very good year and they should hold their heads up high. Obviously, you said not the way you wanted to go out at the end of the year, but, that being said, being able to have a home game here in the playoffs with a big crowd here will definitely work out for us and going forward, being able to deal with that and some of that adversity later on.
Playoffs is completely different than the regular season, and that's something that we definitely learned on Monday and something that we can definitely use in the future, at least definitely for next year, because hoping for bigger and better things next year.
With none of us really playing in a state tournament game before, Monday was a really good experience, although it definitely wasn't the outcome that we wanted, but we'll definitely be ready for next year. Definitely going to prove some people wrong next year, so it should be a lot of fun.
As you can see, players and coaches alike are keeping things in perspective after a difficult end to the season. The lessons these guys picked up along the way will be invaluable to Spy Ponder baseball going forward. Let's hope next season is a home run for Arlington baseball. For ACMi News, I'm Toby Barrett.
Thank you, Toby. That is all we have for today. Thank you for tuning in to this week's newscast.
And while we have your attention, did you miss your chance to watch Arlington's Got Talent? Good news, you can catch it on our public channel. Arlington's Got Talent will air on Sunday, June 27th at 10 p.m. and on Monday, June 28th at 1 p.m.
For the cast and crew at ACMi News, I'm Sophia Titus.
And I'm Paul Werlin. We'll see you next week. Stay safe.
You can always check out our latest segments and newscasts on the web at acmi.tv/news. And don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ACMi News. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. You'll find us at youtube.com/ACMi News. If you have any news tips for us or wish to become a citizen journalist, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at news@acmi.tv or stop by ACMI Studio A at 85 Park Avenue.